Well, good day everyone, and welcome to a new edition of the Wandering Yuki Cheese Cafe. I'll admit, it's been a little while since I've done full episodes over here because life has gotten in the way and I've been taking priorities with other stuff, but I figured I'm on vacation now. It's a nice December week off, so why not get started on a brand new episode for everyone? So, yeah, probably a good idea too. Like, you can always hit that subscribe button below and give this video a thumbs up. So that way I can promote it down the road because, you know, I want people to enjoy my bad jokes at cooking, rentals, and whatever. So today I'm going to be going back to my roots. Obviously, if you follow my channel for a little bit, you know I'm Ukrainian. And if you think about Ukrainian cooking, a lot of it has to do with the deep fried stuff. There's a lot of variations of pork with sausages, some heavy dumplings. So we're pretty known for a very, I guess, heavy set type of cuisine. But it's always good stuff, just in small quantities. And another thing I want to highlight today is something called Kobassa. Kobassa is in Ukrainian. If you're Polish, it would be something like kielbasa. Don't ask me about the spelling, because apparently Polish could be a very difficult language for that. Because the thing about all of Eastern European countries is that the cuisine is going to be very similar, like all across the board. You go to Estonia, Poland, Croatia, Ukraine. I don't know if my hand is being geographically correct over there, but I'm just making a little assumption. Anyways, it's all going to be a very similar type of cuisine over there. And actually a joke that I was told a little while back was that if you look at the spelling of some of these words in all these other Slavic languages, they're going to be pretty similar and you can kind of piece it together. But you look at Polish words, you see the spelling and you think, what the heck is that supposed to mean? It's probably going to look difficult if you're not familiar with the language. All this to say, Kobassa or kielbasa basically translates to sausage. It's not going to be like those sausages you find in stores because they come in different varieties. Like, it would look, I have one over here. This over here is the skinnier kind of sausage. Usually this thing is like, you know, prepared in a casing, smoked with some seasoning, and it makes some really good, tasty side dishes. Of course, this is not like those high-grade pepperonis you get in the store. Those are actually a little bit more dry. And don't get me started on beef jerky, everyone, because yeah. Good thing too is this is a skinnier one, but the pièce de résistance that I wanted to show you today is this is considered the largest variation of kibasa that you could get on the market. So it's like this big, long, cylindrical tube that they have tied up in this casing, and then you could wrap it up like this. And depending on where you get this from, you can get this vacuum packed. Because once you open this, it's probably good for maybe a week. Vacuum pack it, you can save it for over a month. And any of you who knows this math better than me, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's really, really good stuff. And I guess another thing to mention too is, you go to grocery stores, you'll find Schneider's, Lester's, all these other major deli companies are going to be making their variation of what they call Polish sausage. Only thing is that those things are really mild, so you're not getting it's not going to be doing it justice. You want the real thing? I would suggest that you find like one of those Polish bakeries, Russian stores, like someplace that specializes in Eastern European cuisine, because that's where they're going to get the good stuff. This, and I probably mentioned it before my Rosemount Wander video, is I got it from Zhetinsky's Deli. So hats off to Angel Zhetinsky for providing me this. And see me again for the first time in who knows how long. So this, when it's smoked with the right seasoning and especially a lot of garlic, it does pretty well and you get a really good flavor. The catch is you're going to have bad breath afterwards, so you're probably going to need to get some Clorets or XL after you eat this. Anyways, you're going to look at this and you're probably asking to yourself, how do you prepare this? Well, it's actually pretty simple, so I'm going to show you a little demonstration right now. So, if you're going to be preparing this sausage, you're going to need to get yourself one cutting board here and a nice slicing knife. So, you're not going to be obviously eating this whole thing at once because your stomach's not going to be, well, it's not going to thank you very much. So what you just need to do is cut yourself a nice little slice here of the sausage. And you got this orange casing over here. This is made out of some kind of a plastic, so obviously you're not going to want to ingest this kind of stuff. It is kind of nasty. So let's get this off. The casing is slit. Oop. So the casing's off. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to slice this up into smaller little tranches. So you don't have to worry about this being too thick. You can do it like maybe this much, something around 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch, depending on your preferences. Of course, if you really want to be fancy with this, you cut it at an angle like this so that you get nice diagonal pieces, like when you're cutting pieces of cucumber for guests. So you keep going, slice up this beautiful salty garlicky pig, and then once you're done, technically, this is ready for serving. So, like I said, this is gonna be perfect for serving like right off the bat right now. Because the thing about this is usually part of traditional Eastern European Easter dishes and Christmas dishes. So typically what people would be doing is they cut these in slices, put them on a plate, serve it with other stuff like rounds of smoked meat. You could probably have your kishka, aka buckwheat sausage, which I've also covered in the past before, so feel free to click on the top right corner if you want to see that video again. But there's other stuff you could do. Eating it like this is definitely going to have the strongest garlic taste I was mentioning, but what you could also do is get it fried up. And obviously it's pretty basic. Because all you really need is just one size frying pan like this. Something that's decent enough that if you want to hit someone over in the head in case they're misbehaving, then feel free. Wait, what am I talking about again? Anyways, just have to get the pan, set it up on your stovetop, and set it to medium-high heat. The beauty of this too is that you actually don't have to worry about greasing up the pan normally. There's already enough grease in this sausage that you can get away with it. It's like frying up bacon. It greases up itself. Once this is at medium-high heat and radiating just enough chaleur in here, you can throw your sausages in. Yep, and always your big takeaway from this, if you're hearing the sizzle when you put your food in, you'll know you got enough heat. Just throw these in, and it's a pretty basic setup. You just have to leave this in for a couple of minutes, and you want it to brown on the one side, then flip it over to brown on the other, and then you're going to be good to go. Typically, you would do this for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then you would flip it. So here's your way of knowing. This is your uncooked side, and notice it's kind of curving a bit because of the fat. So once you flip it, it's going to look a bit like this. Take note that it's actually starting to brown up just a little bit on here and get a little bit crispy. That is how you know it's time to flip around. Do that. Let this cook for maybe another 3 minutes, 5 minutes or so. Then you could take this off and serve it on a plate, or however else you want to eat this stuff. And just in case you were asking too, because you know me, yep, it is actually possible to barbecue this stuff. I don't think I've done it personally on my barbecue yet. I might have to try that sometime. But it was actually done in the past. We had a little gathering a little while ago from some old HMV crew, and what I did is I ventured back into Rosemount to pick up one of these to share with them. And he ended up, my colleague ended up barbecuing it over there. And because it's him, he was going on saying, well, he said it in French, but I'll just say it in English, just taking a whole platter of the barbecued Kobassa and just going on, I don't want to taste the big sausage. And yes, he knew exactly what he was talking about when I was asking that. Frankly, I don't think people would want to question about it. You know, my sausage is nice, robust, flavorful. I think I'm digging myself in a hole again. Yeah, anyways, this has been cooking for about 2 more minutes. 1 more minute, maybe 2. I'll take it off and then keep it aside for later on. Now let's look at this. Beautiful. Yep, this is your idea. Browned up on both sides. Now you can just cut the heat. And I'm just going to put this on my cutting board to keep aside for when I'm going to serve this a bit later. Ain't that lovely? And possibly pretty deadly too, because it is lots of heavy pork and grease. Ah, my God, you're greasy. There we are. So here, just to give you a recap, a few slices of sausage, Ukrainian style, sliced up, put into the pan for a couple of minutes, and then it comes out like this. Nice, crispy, and flavorful. Super delicious too. Obviously you don't want to abuse yourself with this kind of stuff. Because it's tasty, but it's super heavy. And you don't want to overdo that kind of stuff if you want to be on a good diet. But still, considering all the other stuff that you would find in these kind of quick cooking recipes, this is actually one of the least crazy things. Because I have seen some other stuff too. I mean, one of the big things you can get in Eastern European cooking is like pickled pig's feet, which I've heard memories of with my mom and dad, and I don't know how I can eat that. And then just remember, we also have a dish that's called head cheese. I'll explain the process maybe one day in another episode, but man, just thinking of the name head cheese sounds kind of gnarly. Like, what is this stuff? How do you do it? Why'd you call it head cheese? Still, I do have my point of reference for this, and I guess it's a good way to highlight it. So something I did buy a while ago at the old Montreal Ukrainian Festival is a copy of Baba's cookbook. So, Baba is basically just the Ukrainian term for grandma, or if you make it a derogatory, it's a term for saying old bat, if you don't really like them. But they have this one. It's a pretty good cookbook. It's volume 1 of this. Honestly, I don't know where volume 2 is, because I've yet to find it. I feel like that all the good recipes are already in here. Volume 2 probably doesn't exist. It's probably like that Michael Jackson compilation that was called History, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1. There was never a book 2. They just moved on to other stuff. I looked over this, and you know, the big thing that you would enjoy from this is all the traditional stuff for Easter and for Christmas. But there are some pretty good recipes in here. I didn't know that there was actually a lot of variations of cakes and tarts in here, like lots of good cheesecakes that are made with cottage cheese instead of cream cheese. So it makes it a bit more crumbly, but it's also pretty awesome when you mix it with fruit. There's also coffee cakes, something called Easy Cake. Easy Cake, huh? Okay, 8 ingredients for the cake, and topping is 4 ingredients. Doesn't sound very easy to me if you go by that. Black cherry roll sounds pretty good. Jelly roll cake. Well, this is actually stuff that's pretty awesome. Sharon's lasagna. Lots of peppers. They use pork. Sharon's lasagna. So when they say Sharon, is it Sharon Osbourne, and then Ozzy Osbourne's just going to be shouting, "Sharon, where's my fucking lasagna?" Okay, that was a bad joke. Macaroni, like baked macaroni and wieners. So what, you cut pieces of hot dog and serve it on top of pasta? Really? Funny enough, that's something I think my dad would have prepared. I do have memories of him like making pasta for us, serving with peas and then some wieners. But to make it look a little bit more fancy, I do remember they were sliced up, and then we were able to eat it with a fork. Yeah, it's the only time you can eat hot dogs with a fork, hey? Unless it's in a bun. And maybe there's one more here that I could highlight. Oh yes. Barbecued sausages. That was kind of a disappointing one. I thought this would have been a nice, awesome barbecue sausage to put with it. Like serve it over pork sausages, let it bake for a bit, and then it's going to be awesome. My big red flag at the time should have been the recipe asking for 2 cups of ketchup. I used that to make it, put it in, and I thought, this doesn't taste like barbecued anything at all. It just tastes like a ketchup stew. Bloody hell. And you can imagine just how disappointed I was when I worked myself up for this recipe, only to be, only to be like, felt like I got hit in the nuts for nothing. So yeah, there's a treasure trove of recipes in here I never would have guessed would have existed. Maybe in the future, if I want to highlight some traditional cuisine again, I might go back to it. For now, I'm going to be enjoying this sausage over here. I need something to drink. Yep, time is right. I'm on vacation. Why don't I just enjoy a nice, good brew? So, what am I going to be doing here? Is something from L'Habit's at CB, or I guess it's based on Abitibi. And there's a new one that I discovered I felt is worth checking out. You know, you've heard of your, guardian angels. You also know of your guardians of the galaxies. This one here is La Gardienne des Bois. The reason I picked up is obvious. It's a New England IPA. So yeah, the Guardian of the Woods is just some crazy hippie lady with really long dreadlocks and a whole bunch of this, well, what the heck is she wearing? Like very floral, knitted stuff? I don't know, I can't really tell you, but I'm kind of curious to try it out. And, oh boy. Yeah. There's one element here I forgot to mention about some of these beers, is the IBU, which is your bitterness index in there. The higher the number, the more bitter it's going to be. Like, most of your blondes and ambers are not going to be too bitter. The bitterness is mostly reserved for your IPAs. From my experience, New England IPAs aren't too bitter, but this one, they say the IBU is 55. So I think it's going to be quite a hoppy fucker. Whatever. Let's just see what this one is like. So, Guardian of the Woods, what kind of a precious forest of juice do you present to me? Okay. So they call this one a New England IPA, but when you look at this, it doesn't seem to have the same texture as a New England beer, because it's not as unfiltered and cloudy. It actually seems a little bit more translucent than normal. So it makes me think that this could be like the West Coast style IPA. Very interesting. I guess I should give this a taste and see if it's going to be citrusy or if it's going to be a bitter fucker. And 55 IBU does not taste that bitter to me, honestly. So believe me, I've had my share of bitter beers, and this is actually not one of them. It's pretty tasty. So I'm just going to take a quick break to enjoy the rest of this sausage, and then, I'm not going to let this episode end. We'll be right back. Oh, hey, look, I can actually make my own buckwheat sausages. Okay, what do we got? 2 pounds of whole buckwheat, 2 pounds of spare ribs or neck bones, ew, 2 pounds of fresh pork fat, and 2 cups of fresh blood. Fresh blood? God, this is more complicated than I thought it would be. How the hell am I supposed to get blood at this time of the year? Vampires are obviously in hibernation right now. It's past Halloween, they're not going to care about Christmas. Ugh. So many complications. Wait, hold the phone. You can actually make meatloaf but replace the ground beef with salmon? Okay, that actually sounds kind of awesome. I may have to whip this up one day. Wait. Salmon loaf 2, then further down, salmon loaf 1. What, they couldn't put it side by side? Come on, it's not like you're doing sequels years later, this is just recipes. And what else is there? How do you differentiate salmon loaf 2 with salmon loaf 1? 1 large can of salmon with 2 cups of breadcrumbs versus 1 cup of flake cooked salmon and 1 cup of stale breadcrumbs soaked in 1 cup of scalded milk. Okay. That to me sounds like it's a bit more love and tenderness in the first recipe. Second one's to kind of do it on a budget. Oh, and the second recipe has a cheese sauce, so butter, flour, salt, milk. Sounds like your basic bechamel sauce with half a cup of grated cheese. Well, I guess it's a no-brainer then. Anything with a bit more cheese added is already going to be awesome. Cheese makes everything wonderful. I hate when the dough wraps around my blade like that. This is going to be kind of messy to deal with. So people, in case you haven't figured it out now, I thought I was going to whip up a pizza with this Kobassa fur. Because obviously pizza is one of my favorite dishes, and it's one of the greatest inventions. I guess you could say that pizza is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Life's bread, which had been invented, I think, probably last week. I don't know, it feels like it's been an eternity here. Time flies. So, oh boy. Yeah, I think I kind of goofed up a lot with this thing, so I'm just gonna struggle with this dough and we'll be right back. God damn you. Okay, so crisis averted. Managed to salvage all my dough as much as possible. So put it into a bowl that's lightly coated in olive oil. Cover this up with a little cloth. I'll let it sit for half an hour. So yeah, as I was trying to say, pizza is the greatest invention since life's bread, which was invented last week. Alright, I've recycled that joke. I don't care. But the intention for this is that I was kind of thinking back to another Rosemount story. I might have mentioned in my other video about that Dunkin' Donuts and maybe some, the Dunkin' Donuts where the great Antonio used to hang around. Let me summarize this for you. Guy from Croatia, strongman used to pull buses tied with a chain tied around his waist, wrestler that got the shit kicked out of him in Japan, and eccentric personality trying to sell photos of his glory days, and guy that used to freak me out as a kid. There, that is the great Antonio in less than 15 seconds. So, that Dunkin' Donuts, right beside it was this little strip mall, like little building that had like some downstairs restaurants you would go to. And I always feel like that those restaurants at the bottom always rotated every couple of years. Like there was a different restaurant each time. Could have been Asian, could have been a pizzeria, could have been like, I don't know, whatever it is. But one time I remembered, I want to say this was like the late 90s, early 2000s, was a pizzeria there where you could get like pizza by the slice and maybe whole pizzas, but one of the things they advertised was a Kobassa pizza. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if they advertised it, but I'm almost certain if they didn't, that the Kobassa they bought came from Chatinsky's. It didn't last very long, like it lasted maybe a year, 2 years maximum, and then disappeared. So I was thinking back to that when I bought this Kobassa, and I was thinking, wait, you could put pepperoni, you could put any sausage on here, you could put Kobassa probably also, and it would make an amazing pizza. So why not? I figured if I have this, I'm gonna whip it up and, do one of my personal favorite recipes. As you could tell with me working the dough again. In fact, if you want to have a more detailed look at how to make pizza from scratch, just click on the link on the top right corner, and then you're gonna see how I did an all-dressed pizza from start to finish. So this is gonna take me at least, I'm gonna say half an hour, then 20 minutes to bake it up, and then afterwards, we'll be ready to go with some Kobassa pizza. Excellent. Great. Let's see if I can recycle some of this flour that I used for the dough before. Yeah, this thing took about a good half hour to rise, so it gave me some time to take care of some other errands in the house. One of the benefits of being on vacation is I can do things at my own leisure, but also accomplish a lot more that I wouldn't have the energy or the time to do. Yeah, why people would bury dampers for their vents in the ceiling, I have no idea. But I guess that's a rant that I can go on another time if I ever do come across more of them. So the dough has risen after half an hour, and once again, in case you haven't done pizza before, remember my recipe, you can do 2 batches of dough, so just take a knife, cut it off, and then you just have to use this for 1 round pizza. The other half you can keep aside for a later time, and I'll just knead this a little bit more. So, the reason I put the flour on here is because I want to make this easier to use a rolling pin to try to spread this out, and then get my other toppings on here. Luckily, I did decide to get something else. Luckily, what I invested in is a couple of bucks in one of these mini rolling pins, unlike my big one, because this actually gives me a lot more control over the dough than the other one. Because that one, I would have to maneuver around the edges of this pizza pan, and it would be kind of an annoyance. So as you can see, it's stretching really, really well. And you want to try to get this as much as you can close to the perimeter of your pizza pan here to get maximum size. This is going to give me like a decent medium-sized dough underneath, so it's not going to be too thin, not too thick. I'm still trying to practice my techniques with pizza dough, but that'll be for another time. Next, I'm going to add my pizza sauce. And this is homemade once again. I can't go back to store-bought, honestly, people. Mozzarella cheese is the next ingredient. More cheese? Well, cheese is automatically an awesome thing. I am the Cheese Cafe after all. But pizza without cheese? Something will be missing. It'll be like walking around naked with only a wristwatch and a necktie. Could be fun for some people, but not for everyone. Now the cheese is set, the next step, I'm gonna take my slice of Kobassa and then lay it on top. Most pizzas I know you're gonna put the pepperoni or your sausage underneath the cheese. This I don't mind doing on top. I just think it's gonna be a little bit more awesome. Let's expose that salty pig for what it is. Super delicious. There. I'm gonna try to move things around for maximum space. Make sure it's all evenly distributed once again. There we are. So one more here, and I got a little bit extra. Now I just have to wait for the oven to preheat to 425, and then I could shove this in. 380 degrees, screw it, I'm gonna be putting it in. I'm hungry, this took longer than expected, and I kind of want to have my pizza. So, shove this in here, and I'm gonna set my timer for, let's say 18 minutes. And then once 18 minutes are up, I'm gonna be able to serve this. Obviously, things I've read over the years is, if you have your pizza pan hot beforehand, like if you preheat that, you're actually gonna cook it a lot better, because that's actually the key for getting good pizza. But truth be told, not everyone has time to make a good pizza. It's like a lost art. Oh, who am I kidding? It's not a lost art. You got no shortage of good pizzeria places over here. Real ones though. I'm not talking about Domino's. That's just filler material when you're hungry.
Sugar, oh honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you, honey, oh sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. I just can't believe the loveliness of loving you. I just can't believe it's true. I just can't believe the wonder of this feeling too. I just can't believe it's true. Ah, sugar. Oh, honey, honey. You are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Oh, honey, oh, sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you.
Alright. This is a nice little fun experiment to begin the vacation, because I'm going to admit, I don't remember having that Kobassa pizza near my grandma's place years ago when it existed. So this gives me a good opportunity to see what this is going to look like. Or taste like also. Taste is going to be obvious, I guess, though, because it's really just pizza with a different breed of salty pig, which you really can't go wrong with. So, so much heavenly goodness in one bite. Of course this is hot. I need to cool down. Yeah. Had this been a normal episode I'd be doing at night, chances are I'd be doing another brew right now because the other one was going empty. But truth be told, even though I'm on vacation, doing more than one in the afternoon just seems kind of wrong, unless I'm with my buddies. But overall, this is a nice experiment that paid off in dividends. So, I'm just gonna enjoy my stuff, enjoy my meal, just kick back and relax with some water, and then we'll see what goes on from there. Oh boy, it's really getting to me now. Such heavenly stuff. So thanks for watching, everyone. This has been another edition of the Wanryuki Cheese Cafe, back after a little long time. So if you like what you see, once again, you got that subscribe button below, and you can always give this video a thumbs up to show that you like it. I don't do this for free, you know. Or actually, what am I kidding? I do this because I love you all. And leave a comment if you want to share your commentary or any kind of suggestion you got for a future episode. Until then, peace, y'all. Can this thing predict my fortune? Let's see if there's a fortune written on this piece. You will down a mouthful of fish sauce. How can I get that on this? I never thought I'd have to drink fish sauce again.